Hello everybody and welcome back to another brand new video on my channel. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well, and if you are new to my channel, hello, my name's Libby and I upload a Disney styled video every single week, so if you're interested in knowing more about that then please stay tuned. So today I thought we would carry on from last week's video. If you haven't watched it already, it was a Typhoon Lagoon's attraction run through video. So basically in that video I just spoke about all the attractions in Typhoon Lagoon and what to expect when going there. And this week I'm going to be talking about the other water park that Disney has in Orlando, which is Blizzard Beach. Now I love both the water parks. They're just a really good place to go when you want a stress-free day and have the chance to do as much or as little as you want. In the four main Disney parks it's really easy to become overwhelmed and feel like there's just so much to achieve in such a short amount of time, but I never feel this way when I go to the beaches at Disney. I just really love what mindset that they put me in, and I do feel like they give you that much needed relaxation time that you need when you're on holiday. So without further ado, I'm going to run you through all the attractions in Blizzard Beach and what they have to offer and what to expect when you go there. Before properly starting, I just want to quickly mention that Blizzard Beach probably has the most attractions out of both the Disney water parks, and Blizzard Beach is much more of a thrilling park when compared to Typhoon Lagoon. I would say out of both the parks, Typhoon Lagoon's the park to go to if you want a relaxing day, and then Blizzard Beach is the park to go to if you want more of a thrilling attraction filled day. But either way, they're still great parks. That's just my personal opinion and what I would recommend to people if they wanted a specific type of day. But I do love Blizzard Beach, just don't go there to relax as much as I would when going to Typhoon Lagoon. But anyway, let's get into this video. I've spoken enough, let's just get into it and run you through all the attractions. So there's actually 4 attractions which are just listed by themselves, and then the rest of the attractions are split into 3 separate groups. This is mainly because at Blizzard Beach a lot of the attractions are very spread out, so they just bunch them into groups so you kind of know where you are and what attractions are around. But we'll start off with the 4 main ones which are just listed by themselves. So the first one is Meltaway Bay, which is actually their main pool in the park. And as you know from Typhoon Lagoon, the main pool is huge, but unfortunately it's not as big in Blizzard Beach. It is still a wave pool, however it doesn't have the tidal wave feature that it does in Typhoon Lagoon, but it still is a really lovely pool to go in, especially if you have younger children. The only disadvantage of this pool is that it is quite tiny, and they do offer rubber rings in the pool as well, which take up a significant amount of space, so you do feel like you're bumping into each other a lot, and it does feel very crowded a lot of the time. Also, there's very limited seating here as well. There's more than enough seating in Blizzard Beach, but it's just dotted around the whole park, whereas in Typhoon Lagoon the majority of the seating is right by the main pool. So that can be a bit frustrating as well, because obviously if you're going to relax you do want a place by the pool, and if you've got kids you want to be able to see them running in and out, and there's not that much space to offer there. The second attraction is Cross Country Creek, which is actually the park's lazy river. As I spoke about in last week's video as well, Typhoon Lagoon does also have a lazy river, and I really just love these attractions in general, no matter where they are. If you don't know what a lazy river is, basically it's a large river that goes around the whole of the water park, and it has certain stops which you can get on and off dotted around the whole lake. I really like to go on the lazy river to get to certain places, and it's a really good thing to do, especially when you're at Blizzard Beach, as it is quite a spread out water park. It will help you get to the places you need to be while keeping you relaxed and not using a lot of energy, because a lot of the attractions when you have to get to them are upstairs, so it's a lot of climbing stairs all day, so you might as well take some relaxation while you can before you have to do that massive task before riding the attraction. The third area is Ski Patrol Training Camp, which is actually a teenage area, so it's for them children that are in between like being kiddies and toddlers and then being adults, I guess. So it's for anywhere, I would say, from age about 9 or 10 to about 13 or 14. It's really great that they have this area, because especially in Typhoon Lagoon there's not a lot for that age, that awkward age where you're not the right height to ride stuff, or it's a bit scary to ride some of the bigger rides but you're too small to go to the kids area. So it's really lovely that they do have this place for teenagers to go, and I used to love this place when I was a kid. I thought it was absolutely amazing. They offer loads of stuff here. They do have a few slides and stuff to go on, but the main thing they have is almost like an obstacle course. Because Blizzard Beach is obviously centered around the idea of a ski resort, it's all icy and slippery, and it's just so much fun, and I used to spend all day there when I was younger. One thing that I love that they have there, I'm not sure if they still have them there, but I hope they do, because it was so much fun. They had these massive foam icebergs floating in the pool and then net above it, and you had to hold the net and try and jump to other ones to get to the other side, and it was just so much fun. If you've got children of that age that love the water and love obstacle courses and climbing and all stuff like that, take them there and they'll have the best time. And then the fourth area I want to talk about is called Tykes Peak, which is a children's area for younger children. This again is really lovely. It's got a lot of shallow water, a lot of fountains, so nothing too extreme, but just loads loads and loads of fun. There's lots of stuff for the kids to sit on and play with, and yeah, it's just a really lovely time, especially if you do have younger children. I believe there's also seating areas around here, so if you want to centre yourself around there, if you do have younger children, it's a really great place to be. Right, now I'm going to talk about the 3 different sections which I was on about earlier. So these are actually called slopes, and we've got the green slopes, the purple slopes and the red slopes. So there's 3 of them in total, and there's all different attractions on each slope. For most of these attractions, when they're in the same slope, you have to take the same set of stairs up, and then you just choose at the very end what attraction you want to ride. But like I said earlier, they just call them slopes to group them a bit and make you know what section you're in and what rides to expect when you're there. So in the first slope, which is the green slope, you have the attractions Summit Plummet, Slush Gusher, Teamboat Springs and the Chairlift. I'm actually going to talk about these from the last one to the first one because I think that makes more sense to me. I don't know why I read them out that way. I should have done it in reverse, but anyway. So the first one I want to talk about is the Chairlift, which isn't really an attraction, but when I was a kid I used to think it was amazing. Basically, it's what it says in the title. It's like the chairlift you get when you're at a ski resort. It takes you all the way up to the top of the mountain in the park where the main attractions are. If you're not too keen on the chairlift, you can take the stairs obviously, but it is a really long way up, so it does take a really long amount of time. So normally most people take the chairlift. The only disadvantage of that is there is always quite a long queue for it, but it goes down pretty quickly. The next ride is Teamboat Springs, which is a family raft ride. It's very similar to Misadventure Falls in Typhoon Lagoon, which I spoke about last week, but because it's older than Misadventure Falls, I would say that it's a bit less thrilling. There's a bit less of a story to it. It is literally just a water slide. There is no narrative or story to it at all. However, it is still really fun, and in your rubber ring that you sit in, you can fit up to 6 people in, which is really fun. If you're on a big family holiday, you can fit an awful lot of you in at a time and experience it all together. So if you do enjoy going on group rides and want to experience some attractions together, this is a great one to go on. The next ride after that is Slush Gusher, which is actually one of my favourite rides. It's a drop slide. It's very similar to a couple in Typhoon Lagoon again, but it is really good. In these rides, they make you cross your arms and cross your legs and stay completely still while you drop. As I said previously in last week's video, make sure you're wearing a decent bikini or swimming costume for this, because sometimes they do come undone and it's just like the worst thing in the world. So make sure you're tied up tight and all strapped in and ready to go when going on attractions like these. And then the last ride in the green slopes is Summit Plummet, which is the main attraction in Blizzard Beach, I would say. You probably know what it is, as I would say it's Blizzard Beach's trademark. It's basically the little house on top of the mountain with the slide going off it. So when you go down it, it looks like you're going to go off the end of the slide, but there's actually a hole in the bottom and it takes you all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. It says on the map that it's one of the world's tallest and fastest free-fall body slides in the world, so that's just crazy. And when you go down it, it does actually measure your speed as well, which is pretty cool. I have to be honest with you guys, I've never actually gone on it. I'm not brave enough to go on it. It does scare me a bit. If you do think you're brave enough and you do love a bit of thrill, then definitely go on this one because it does look terrifying. So the next slopes I'm going to talk about are the purple slopes, and there is 3 attractions in these slopes, and they're the toboggan races, the snowstormers and the downhill double dipper. And the way you get to these in the park is you go left to the main pool at the front of the park. And the only reason I know this is because these are the only attractions I was allowed to go on when I was a kid, because they were close enough to where our base was. So I spent a lot of time on these attractions because they were close and I was allowed to go on them. So let's get into talking about each attraction. So the first ride in this section is the toboggan races, and this is such a great ride. I used to love going on this ride, and it is a really good ride to go on if you're in a big group or all your family is there. So this ride basically is a race. Actually, all these rides in this slope are all racing rides, so there is a bit of competition there, so they're great rides to go on if you are in a group and you do love a bit of competition and rivalry. And in toboggan races, I believe there's about 6 or 8 of you all lined up in a row, and you lie on your stomach. You do have a mat to hold on to, so you're not completely on the slide, but you're on your stomach and you're racing down, and it's all about how hard you can push off at the very top and what momentum you can get when you're going down. And like I said, it's basically a race at the bottom to see who wins. I think there is a man stood at the bottom as well, and he does tell you who's won in what order, so there's no way of getting around it. You have to win fair and square, but it is a really great ride to go on, and it's very competitive as well. The next ride I want to talk about is the snowstormers, which again is another attraction where you lie on your stomach on a mat. It's very similar to the one I just spoke about, but this one is more windy and curvy, so it's a lot easier to pick up a bit more momentum. So I would say it's a lot easier than the first one, and you literally don't know who's going to win it till the end, so that's a really fun ride to go on. If you've done the attraction I spoke about before a couple of times and then you go on to this one, it's just a bit bit more exciting and thrilling. And then the last attraction I want to talk about in this section is the downhill double dipper, which is a great attraction to go on, especially if you've gone on holiday in a pair. So this again is another racing attraction. You're in competition with each other, and this one's in a rubber ring, so you literally have no control of how fast you're going, and at the top they do push you off really fast. At the bottom of this one they used to time you to see how long it took you to get to the bottom, which is so much fun as well. I'm not sure if they do that anymore, but I think they do. And there's not much else to say about this ride. Basically you just sit in your rubber ring and they throw you off the top, and it's who can get to the bottom of the slide in the quickest amount of time. But it's still really fun, it's still really exhilarating, and it's great to go on. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes the attractions at water parks can be a bit lonely, just because you usually do them all by yourself and you can't really experience it with everyone. Obviously you can all go on in a row, but you're all having separate experiences and you can't really do it all together. So it is really nice and important, I think, that they do have these rides where you can play against each other or all go on together, because it just adds that Disney magic and gives you the communication you need when you're on a family holiday. And now I'm going to talk about the very last slopes and the very last attraction in this park, and this is the red slope. And actually in the red slope section there is only one attraction, and this attraction is Runoff Rapids. Even though it's one attraction, it has a choice of 3 separate slides to go on, so you can basically get 3 different rides out of this one single attraction, which is really great as well. It's another one of them rubber ring rides, and like I said, you go up the same flight of stairs to get to the top, and then you choose whatever slide you want to go down. So it is a really fun thing to do, especially if you want to ride all 3 of them. And basically these slides are undercover, out in the open. They kind of differ between each other. They're all different, like I said, and all follow different routes, so they're really great and fun to go on and stop off and do. So that's all the attractions in Disney's Blizzard Beach water park. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed making it, to be honest, and talking about all these attractions. As I said in this video and previous videos I've made about Disney water parks, there really isn't a lot of information about on the internet at all. A lot of vloggers that I watch that go to Disney don't take advantage of the water parks, which isn't a problem at all, but it just means that there isn't a lot of information to find at all when you want to learn about them. So I hope these videos have come in handy for you. I will make more in the future if you want to see more from me. I'll link both my previous Disney water park videos in the description for you if you want to learn more about either water park, and I will be making more Florida water park videos in the future for you guys if you want to learn more about what else there is in Florida. If you did like this video, then please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment on what you want to see in the future. As I said earlier, I do make a different Disney/Florida video every week, so I'd really love to know what you guys want to see from me, and I will be sure to make that for you. Also, if you want to know more about Disney water parks or Disney parks in general, I do have a blog as well, which I post tons and tons of information on there, which is great to go on if you are planning your very first trip to Disney or just need a refresh, and I would really appreciate it if you checked it out. There is actually a blog post up there right now linking to all my water park videos that I've made on this channel and going into more detail about what to expect when you go to them. So if you're interested, then again, I'll leave that in the description for you guys to check out. If you want to see more from me in the future, then please subscribe to this channel. On Fridays, like I said, I make a Disney video, and then on Mondays I also upload a fashion, beauty or lifestyle video. So if you're interested in any of that, then please subscribe. And that's all I've got to say for this video this week. I hope you stay safe and I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you next week in Monday's video. Bye!